Welcome to this how-to video. My name is Kelly Campbell and I look after Protecht ERM Online Help. In this video series, we're going through the process of creating a register step by step. In this third video in the series, we're going to create the register itself. This allows us to add our sections and fields so that the fields will appear on an entry form. There are also several register settings that allow you to create forms that suit your business processes. Here's a breakdown of what this video will cover. First, we'll have a refresher on how registers work. Then we'll create a register and then add sections to the register. Next, we're going to create some tabs. And then we'll add the register to My Tasks. And finally, assign permissions so our users can see the form. First, here's a quick reminder of how registers work. Registers allow you to capture and track data with your own customized forms. A form is created in a register using sections to contain the form's fields. In the second video in this series, we created a section with fields, so we will now create the register. So open up Register Designer and click Create New. Next, enter a name for the register. Here I'm creating a safety incident register, so that's what I'm providing as the register name. Then you can select any of the options on the General tab that suit your business requirements. You can select an icon to make it easily distinguishable in a register list. If you want to use tabs, the first tab that will appear in the register form is called Main by default, but you can change that to anything you like. So here I'm going to change that to Identification. I want to make sure states are enabled, and we'll go through states and transitions in more detail in a later video. Many of these settings have info bubbles with a description or a link to a help article for more information to help you understand what they do. Now we're ready to add sections to the register. So to do that, open the Sections tab and use the filter to find the section that you want to add, and then drag that section onto the right-hand side of the screen. A dialog will open. This is effectively a section editor, and you can either just click OK to close it, or you can make changes to the section here. So then we repeat that process to add all of the sections. Now, in the previous video, we created some shell sections with no fields. Now we can add those fields using the Section Editor dialog. The process is the same as creating fields in Section Designer. Open the Fields tab, find the field type, and drag it across to one of the columns. Then the dialog will open and you can define the field settings. Sections will appear on the form in the order in which you place them on the Sections tab. So once we've added all of the sections to the register, we can create the tabs. Click on the Tabs heading and then drag the tab separator onto the editing space above the sections that you want to be displayed on this tab. And then you can add the tab name. So here I've created 3 tabs, which means there will be a total of 4 tabs in my register form, recalling that I already named the first one on the General tab of the Register Editor. Finally, save the register. And now you can add the register to My Tasks if it has a final state and a user field. To do that, open the Tasks tab and select the user field that will determine who sees the task. Then you can select the date field that will determine when the task is due. This register isn't the most typical example of a register you'd add to My Tasks, but it does fulfill the requirements so we can see how it's done. And then we can save the register. Finally, it's important to assign permissions so users can see the register and create or view entries as appropriate. There are a lot of different options for assigning permissions for registers, so it's a good idea to go and have a look at the permissions list in Protecht ERM Online Help. This will give you some examples for how to provide different levels of access for registers. Once you know what kind of permissions you want to assign to your roles, open the Roles and Permissions module, select the role, and then in the Permissions tab, navigate to the new register, and then enable the appropriate permissions for this role. The permissions I'm enabling here will allow the user to add entries, view all entries in the register, and edit their own entries that they've created. This register has states enabled, so I'm also including permission for this role to submit an entry. And don't forget to include section permissions as well, so users will be able to see the fields in the form and edit them as appropriate. And then save the role when you're done. That's it for creating the register itself. In the next video, we'll look at creating a subtable, which is a special type of field that you can use in a register that allows you to link entries from a different register. In this short demo, we're creating and linking an entry from the hazards library within the safety incident register.